YouTube, what's good, man? Just GK coming at you with the video live from the upstate. I want to talk about a topic here. I just got back from the gym, and I've been reading. I actually just finished a book, a very long book called Psychocybernetics by I think it's by Maxwell Waltz. I have to look at the title again, but I want to talk about it and basically what I learned from it and what you should get from it. So let's get to it. I'll catch you on the next clip. All right, YouTube, what's good, man? Just GK. Another video topic straight off the dome. Not just playing, but anyway, I want to talk about psychocybernetics. What I learned from this book. So, before reading this book, my thoughts would race all the time. I wasn't very confident or sure of myself or what I wanted to do or how to achieve success, or I'd see other people achieving success. And I just be so confused, like, how are they able to do this so well, right? How are they able to just have a goal and just achieve it? You hear stories of people like Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times, right? People like Einstein. Einstein, when he grew up, people thought that he had that he was crazy. People thought that he just was inept, but now he's like the founder of he's like the most brilliant man known. He's like the most brilliant person known to man now. And sometimes I ponder these things and I would always question myself and always double back on what I choose to do or what I want to do and whatnot. And any rational mind would do that. I mean, in today's age, there are many risks and there are many rewards. But all in all, what I'm trying to say is that what is the key to success really? Right? What is really the key to success? And the key is that there really is no key. However, what Psychocybernetics actually explains, it goes into detail. There's no special key, right? What I mean by that is you can't take a herb or supplement or do something to make you become someone who chases success. It just completely depends on your mindset, right? It's completely all 100% mindset. That's it. That's the difference between someone who actually wins and someone who actually loses. Because losing is a part of life. Everybody loses. What is that in my beard? Everybody loses in life. Everybody takes a L. L's come all the time. So you have to be able to sit up there and take the L and keep going. And basically what Psychocybernetics talks about is it's called the automatic success. It's specified because it was a long book. That book was 10 hours long. It's called the automatic success mechanism. That's what it is. The automatic success mechanism. The automatic success mechanism is basically used on the creative side of your brain. To define it in layman's terms, depending on how I remember it right now, it basically describes this mechanism in your brain where it automatically will chase success. This can be found clearly in winners, right? And people who win all the time. People who do well in sports and whatnot. Or people who are really good at something, they tend to, once they win, they tend to win more and more, right? Like success basically compounds. And basically, how does this tie into the automatic success mechanism? Because your brain has already perceived in its mind that it can win and that the possibilities of it getting what it wants is actually high, it'll automatically start to subconsciously orient itself towards success. You fail because you believe you're going to fail, right? That's not the complete, obviously we fail for different reasons. But I mean, people who quit, people who give up, people who, here, let me put it like this. Let's say you want to go speak to a girl, right? Let's say you want to go speak to somebody. Or if you're a girl, let's say you want to go speak to a guy. When you're, this mainly goes for guys, but when you're nervous and you want to speak to that person, because you're thinking too much and because you're just worried about, you believe that you're going to fail, your body automatically reacts and follows the behavior as if you are going to fail. It's actually going to fail, right? So what you want to do is think about success so that you can actually achieve success. Psychocybernetics goes really in depth about this, and it's just a great book. I highly recommend it to everyone who wants to do self-improvement. And I mean self-improvement. I don't mean self-masturbation. I don't mean mental masturbation. Again, mental masturbation is something you do when you want to just indulge self-improvement content and not really do anything, and not really actually get fed up and upset with your life and try and make a change. That's not what I'm talking about. The reason I read this book, and the reason we should all read and reread these books, is because we want to actually apply these things, right? To activate the automatic success mechanism in your mind, you have to start imagining success, and you have to stop caring about your failures. Actually, so I felt like I was rambling, and I want to actually just highlight 3 main things that I got from this book. I'm going to reread this book, and maybe I'll make another video on it, but I'm just gonna highlight 3 main things that I learned from this book. Number 1, mistakes don't make you. Now, this is a big one, right? You know, before reading this book, I would make a mistake, and I would think about the mistake, and I would feel like that was a part of me. I feel like that mistake that I made is a indicator of my character, is an indicator of who I am as a person. That's not true. You make mistakes. Mistakes do not make you. Mistakes do not define you. And I know many people hear that, and that's a very cliche thing to say. Oh, the mistakes don't make you. I'm not saying that so that you can cope, so that you can continue to make mistakes. No, I'm saying that because when we start to identify ourselves as someone who is a mistake maker, as someone who's made that mistakes, and that's who we are, we start to behave in such a way that produces the result of more mistakes, because you are the fruit of your thoughts. You are the fruit of your thoughts, and the deeds that you do will, and the thoughts that you have will show themselves in your deeds. If I continue to think negative thoughts, I'll start to do negative things, right? People go to jail and people go to prison, but it all starts with one negative thought that gets them in there. Oh, I can't make enough money, so I gotta go rob and steal. Right? It's always some sort of negativity breeds negativity. So then when you don't understand that mistakes actually don't define you, and really think about this, really thoroughly penetrate this idea. When you understand that mistakes don't actually make who you are as a person, and they just become irrelevant to you in your mind, you can start to actually pursue your goals abundantly. And that's another thing. You have to do things out of abundance, like I said in previous videos. Because if you're doing something out of scarcity, if I don't do this, I won't get this. Or if I won't do this, I won't be able to do that. You don't enjoy it. But when you're doing something you enjoy, when you start to give your gift, or you start to do something out of love, you can actually do it very well. You can do it very abundantly because you want to do it. You want to do it. And you can't do that if you dwell on your mistakes. So that's one thing I got. Mistakes don't make you. Secondly, the past is the past. So I'm going to break this down logically, because honestly, I didn't see this in an emotional light at all. When people say, oh, I put the past behind me, they normally think emotionally. They normally think, I don't want to be burdened with the past, so I'm just going to ignore it, right? And that's fine. That's cool. But sometimes people do that because they're narcissistic and egotistical. Sometimes people do that because they don't want to face reality. Sometimes people confuse facing reality as in, sometimes people confuse forgetting the past as a benevolent thing, but it can be denying reality. You get what I mean? Like, the past happened, but you shouldn't dwell on it. That's my point. You shouldn't dwell on it. Whatever happened in the past, I acknowledge that it happened, but it doesn't matter, because can it change? No. So then why are you caring about it? Because the past can't change, it becomes irrelevant. That's how you're supposed to think about it. There's nothing I can physically do right now that can change the past. I can't hop in a time machine. I can't do it. I can't do nothing. You can't do anything to change the past. So why are you worried about it? You know, but before reading it, one may think, let's say you try to, let's say you said something to somebody, right? And you look back on it and you just think, oh man, that was dumb, or that was foolish, or I shouldn't have said that. don't worry about it no more. Use it as a lesson, but don't dwell on it. Remember that the past is the past. And the reason that remembering this is important is because it does free up mental burden. But for what purpose? So that you can free your mind to do something creative and constructive, right? You can't access your creative energies within you if you're constantly burdened with anxiety and worries that are inside of you. When you're constantly burdened by anxiety and worries that are inside of you, it stifles your imagination and your creative energy. And actually, that very energy is used to chase goals. And that's going to bring me to my third point that I actually almost forgot. The consciousness does not solve problems. The consciousness does not solve problems. Your conscious thinking does not solve your problems. Trying to think about problems all the time, how to solve them with your conscious brain, actually doesn't work. The way to actually solve problems is actually innately already ingrained in you because we're problem-solving creatures. But your prefrontal cortex, your reasoning skills, are actually used to identify problems, not to actually solve them. They're actually used to identify problems. My light just shut off. Oh no, that's not good. It's actually used to identify problems. They don't actually solve them. So then what does this mean? Well, I'm a rational thinking human being. I'm driving my car. There's a red light. So I stop. I stop at the red light because it'd be a problem if I kept going. So I'm able to rationalize that and able to see, okay, that is a problem. But the only thing that makes me solve the problem is actually action. It's only action. And when people are using their consciousness too much, they start to think too much and they start to identify more problems in the course of action of solving it. So let me break this down to you. How many times have you had a problem that you want to solve, but you've thought so much about it that you've hesitated? Right? I know I have. Many people do this. We hesitate, we think too much. Oh, this and that, this might happen or that might happen. No, stop. Just you're using your conscious thinking too much to solve a problem, and then therefore the problem never gets solved because that's not what it's used for. You can't use a screwdriver to cook food, and you can't use a spatula to fix things. So use your conscious power, use your reasoning abilities to define problems, to find them, but use your creative energy to solve them. And that brings me to my last point that I actually found, that I actually read in Psychocybernetics, is actually the power of your imagination and your creative energy, man. This is really important because when we think about it, one day, chimpanzees saw a jawbone or saw a bone and sharpened it, and they used it as weapons. I don't know if you guys ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey. That boring movie, but basically humans thrived because we got creative. People understood electricity, thermal energy, science, physics, space, all that stuff, mathematics, because they got creative. Our conscious thinking only helps us define those things, but our creativity helps us create those things. People create YouTube channels, people do all sorts of amazing things because they have a creative mind, right? And that's what I mean, the power of your imagination. Do not stifle it. So how do you access the power of your imagination? Imagine yourself in the solution and dwell on it. That's it. Obviously, to bring about success and to bring about change, you have to implement action. But it first starts with having the goal in mind that you already want. And I need to reread this book again because obviously, I can be way more defined and have a higher definition of explaining everything that I've learned in that book. But I need to reread it too because there is so much information in this book that it was actually really life-changing, and I'm really thankful that I actually was able to read it. And I really hope that you guys are gonna read it too after this video. And there's an audiobook on YouTube. I can put the link in the description. But the point is that the power of your imagination is actually really amazing. Keep in your mind this: what solves your problems is your creative energy. your unstifled, abundant, loving, creative energy that you have already innately within you. When you are able to access that, you can solve your problems creatively, because solutions only come out of you having some sort of imagination or some sort of creative ability. Aside from that, things you want to take out of this is that things like remembering mistakes, dwelling on the past, and using and thinking too much about a course of action are all ways to stifle that creative energy within you. You want to just get up and do it. You want to get up and try and solve things. One day, people like Jeff Bezos, people like Einstein, and all these famous people that businessmen or whoever may look up to nowadays, they all sat down and they just got to work. They didn't have a plan. They didn't have some sort of they didn't have any step-by-step elaborate logical plan as to get to point A to point B. It was pretty much improvisation. They were going completely off of creative energy alone. So think about that. That actually means something. But anyway, fellas, if you guys want more daily content like this, books, pills, like supplements and stuff like that, fitness advice, stuff like just within the niche of you improving yourself and whatnot, go ahead, click that like, subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications, and come back and see me again, man. I'm trying to upload daily content, get these videos out here and whatnot, but I really hope you guys enjoyed. And without further ado, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.